So we've had almost all of the candidates for governor on the show so far. We will continue to have them on as the year progresses or the next year progresses. I'm not sure we'll be able to get every candidate for every assembly race and every state senate race on. But this one in particular, I thought was really interesting because I think there takes a lot of political courage to run an unwinnable seat, right? And I think we have more competitive seats in Wisconsin than we've had for the last 15 years because of the new maps that came out in 24. But there's still places that are like places in Madison, places in Milwaukee, places in different parts of the red districts in Wisconsin that like you try to recruit someone who is a good candidate and tell them it's worth it, even though there's basically no chance that they're going to win.
It takes a lot of guts.
It takes a lot of guts to still commit to do that. And our guest did that in an assembly district, in this 56th assembly district in Outagamie County in 2024, and is now signed up to do it again for State Senate District 19. And I wanted to just talk about why. Because, again, to the political courage it takes to do it, what you get out of it, and I just think there's a lot to learn from that. So please welcome our guest, Emily Tseffos, who is on the phone with us. Actually, she is on video with us, so you text WATCH to 855-616-1620. You can see her as well. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So I guess, lay the foundation or like just the framework of what it was in 2024 when you ran and what kind of campaign you executed, considering you knew going into it that you weren't going to win.
It was rooted in a lot of hope. But really, that district is a little bit of Appleton, but it goes pretty rural pretty quickly. And it's one that has been like largely neglected on the Democratic side for a while. And I really love it here. I live here. I'm raising my kids here. And so for me, it was connecting with our community again in a way that like was much more trying to be much more authentic, I think, than our politics is today. And it was knocking on thousands of doors and doing some like community service projects and things like that. But it was a labor of love. And we did not see in the shift that happened last November. I was really proud because this district, rural Outagamie County, shifted like way less than the national average. And I attribute that to like our team and the work that we did that was like full of just heart and compassion for our neighbors.
Emily, I was a former elected official. I lost my first 2 races and then won my next 4. So I think there's value in running even when you lose. So for someone who's gone through that experience, what did you learn? What experience did you gather that sort of takes you to the next election?
I think for me, it was that people are like, it fills me with hope because even with everything that's going on, and I'm certainly not a fan of so much that's happening, but there are really good natured people. And I think that getting back on front doors and talking to folks about issues that are important, I'm really finding that we have more in common. And I was really excited to have done a campaign that was rooted again in a mutual respect, in a genuine curiosity for why people felt the way that they did. And then kind of like filling in the gaps that exist because there's so much misinformation and there's so many different ways that people are receiving their news and things like that, and people just don't know. And so to connect a pain point to that policy and do it in a way that was rooted in like respect and care for that person was something that like I'm hoping to build upon this time.
I can tell because I've done the door knocks and I've had those conversations on the patio. That's really where you hear from people on what they really feel about politics and their local communities and the issues that are important. I love the fact that you were willing to do that in an unwinnable district. And I always admire people that do this stuff. And for you to do that, what do you think is the thing that they're telling you? What were they telling you then? What are they telling you now?
I think there's a genuine, like, an apathy or almost like nobody cares, right? Like nobody ever speaks to me anymore. I feel like on both sides, like people are feeling a lot that the parties are like leaving them behind. And I think like when you get down to the brass tacks of it, right, it's that people want a fair shot. They want to take care of their family and their community, and they love their state and their country, and they want to do what's right for it. And so I really tried to, again, root it in that. And that's what people continue to say, right, is that there's a pain point, but it's connecting that pain point to the policy.
So you're running as a Democrat. You ran as a Democrat before. And to a certain extent, you were elected chair of the Outagamie County Democratic Party. So it's not like you probably could change all of a sudden and run as an independent. But I wanted to run this by you, at least what your thought process around it, because yesterday we referenced a conversation that Ezra Klein had with Jared Abbott, who is from the Center of Working Class Politics, and they were talking about the double-digit Democratic penalty. So this means in Rust Belt swing states, they looked at the different races, and candidates running as Democrats took a sizable hit versus independents, even if they were both economic populist platforms. So like the same type of candidate talking about the same type of issues, one as an independent, one as a Democrat, independents fared better. And they were kind of just talking about it as this idea that there is like a Democratic penalty just because the brand name right now is so bad in certain parts and certain communities. Do you feel that when you're having these conversations? Is there any desire to think that like if you could run as an independent, you may fare better?
I will preface it by saying, like, I really like the idea of having a multi-party system where we have, dozens of them that truly represent and know their communities best. So they're like dedicated to doing right by it. And I think in that podcast, they mentioned, like labor and things like that.
Yeah.
That would be great. We don't live there. And I really truly believe in like what the Democratic Party is supposed to stand for, like working people, fair wages, safe communities, and like a government that exists because we live in a society, but is helping the most vulnerable of us, as well as those of us that are like looking to, invest in our communities in ways large and small. And so I think that when you get down to it, so many conversations I had on doors, but when you get down to it, like there's certainly a worry that you're going to be a rubber stamp for a party that is seen as being disconnected from people, working people. And like, there is no, there's no need, nor should there be 100% allegiance to any party, to any platform, to any leader kind of thing. You want to do what's best for the people that you're supposed to represent. And what works in Milwaukee County and what works up here in like Waushara County is not the same thing. But what you need to do is have people at the table that are like, I know this place and I want to do what's right for them. And you're 100% in their corner all the time. And that, I think, to say that to people is refreshing. And of course, it's building trust, right? Like I can't go to a door one time and say, I'm going to do this for you. I expect you to trust me because we have been, maligned, and we've been, people are rightfully feeling that they've been left behind. But I think demonstrating that time and time again, which is why I'm running again, is to say, I'm still here. I'm still dedicated to it because you're still suffering, which means that problem wasn't fixed even with the leadership in charge right now. So let's try something new because what we're doing right now ain't working.
We talked about the brand of being a Democrat. What's your brand? What do you stand for?
People first, always. Like, I don't think so much. Yes, I'm chair of the county party. We're not as connected to like national stuff as one might think on either side politically. But like, it's people first, and it's not about left or right. It's about like the top versus the bottom. Like, that's the fight that I want to like highlight, because as people consolidate power and build systems to protect themselves or protect corporations, the people that are getting screwed are the ordinary people at the bottom that are working really, really hard. And what I want to do is highlight those things, like highlight the fact that you are being taken advantage of. We are all being manipulated, and we really need to gather like our voices at the bottom that are feeling these things so that we can advance policy that's going to positively impact those of us that are working really, really hard.
Well, I'm excited to watch your campaign and hear about what the conversations are this time around at the doors as you are going to knock on thousands of them again. But Emily Tseffos, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Emily.
She is running for the State Senate, District 19.